Hello, welcome to Thoughts from the Road. My name is BJ Marshall. I'm the Executive Director of Highway Connections. And today I want to talk to you about something that almost every truck driver deals with, and many of you other drivers probably deal with it as well. Flat tires. Man, there is probably nothing worse than getting up, doing your pre-trip in the morning to find a tire that's gone flat. But I have to say, it was always better to find it then than as you're driving down the road and all of a sudden you hear that pop or that bang, and all of a sudden you have a flat tire. Now, I know there was one time I was driving around Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm driving along, everything's going great, and all of a sudden I hear this pop, and then a this can't be good. So I go to pull over. Now in this section of highway that I was on, there was barely enough room to get my truck off the road. So I get off, I climb over through the passenger side door because I couldn't even get out my driver's side door because I'd have been in traffic. And I look, and sure enough, I had a flat tire on my steer tire. The scariest one I ever saw was I was driving around St. Louis, and up in front of me there was a truck traveling, and it was pulling another truck facing the other way. So you're looking at a truck. It was kind of one of those like, oh, that's just somebody pulling somebody else. When all of a sudden that whole rig just started bouncing and bobbing all over the road. Slow way down. As I go to pass him, I look over and his front steer tire is just shredded. You know, I'm glad I wasn't the one driving because, man, that can give you some pretty good scares. But no matter how you find your flat tire, there's a couple of things that goes with all of it. The first is that it stops you. You can't go forward. And then by the time you get the tire company out there, you get it replaced, there's a bill due. This got me thinking about my spiritual life and how I sometimes find flat tires in my life, spiritually speaking. When temptation comes into my life, it's kind of like that flat tire. It's that stopping me from getting to where I want to go, and I have to take time, and sometimes I have a bill that comes due. James talks a little bit about this in his book. In chapter 1, he says, "Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, for once he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to those who love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself does not tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when he is carried away and enticed by his own lust. Then, when lust has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is accomplished, it brings forth death." You see, those temptations in our lives, they're like those flat tires. They're a sign that there's something not right. Because we put ourselves a lot of times into a location, or we find ourselves in a location where a temptation is happening. There's something going on around us. There's time where we're by ourselves when no one is looking. Well, when we find those flat tires in our lives, when we find those temptations in our lives, this is a great time to stop, take a moment, and pray. Take that time, just like being stuck on the side of the highway with a flat. Take that time to get our hearts right, to get our focus right. Because you see, James tells us that if we just keep driving on that flat, if we are just going down the road with a tire that's not aired up correctly, that blowout can cause a lot of damage. It can cause a lot of damage to us, but it can also cause a lot of damage to those around us. So no matter whether we take the time with the flat, like we find it in the morning and don't get started as soon as we want to, or whether we just keep going and end up with a much bigger bill due, it's going to slow us down. But the good news is that we can, through Jesus, overcome temptation. We can go get our hearts right. So no matter how you find it in your life, remember next time that you come to a point of temptation, to stop, to pray, to get our focus back on Jesus. You have a safe journey. Keep your eyes on the road.